Hey everybody, Asher here, and after a few weeks off, it is Free Play Friday once again. Today we're taking a look at Distant Worlds Universe, a game that has been in my Steam library for a while. Definitely one of those games that I've thought, I'm interested in playing it. I need to take some time to learn it. And then Stellaris, which is made by Paradox Games, coming out in May, has caught my eye again. I remember it being announced last year, but getting some more information on it reminded me, I want to play it. I have a game like that right now, and that's Distant Worlds Universe. It's a 4X / grand strategy game, and much more grand strategy than 4X. So what we're going to do in this video here, I did try and record a video from the middle of the save that I'm in, and I honestly think that there's just a little bit too much to talk about without kind of going through some of the basic steps in the beginning. So if you want to see more Distant Worlds, by all means, let me know in the comments. I'm happy to do some more here. But the basic story in Distant Worlds is that there were all kinds of civilizations out in space, and then some bad, terrible people came by, and there was the Great Forgetting, and now we're back to just faring off in space. So I'm going to be doing a custom game here. I never really go too much into like creation options, but we can do that just a little bit here. You can choose different shapes of your galaxy. I'm just going to choose spiral because that's kind of what we have here. All kinds of different options in terms of star size. I find on my system 1,000 stars runs pretty well, and that's not 1,000 planets. It's stars with different planets or no planets at all orbiting. It can go even higher than that. You get little warnings for memory. Remember, this game was, in its original incarnation, was released back when 2 gigabytes of RAM was a lot to speak of. So there's different like physical size for each sectors. That doesn't really matter as much. But we're going to be doing a pre-warp start. You can start in like mature or old universe or advanced. You can even do asymmetrical starts, I believe, although I haven't done that. And we're just going to go with normal aggression, hard difficulty. I could probably move it up to very hard, to be honest. But just for the sake of this recording, we're going to do the hard difficulty and research cost normal. There's pirates in this game. They're like barbarians in Civilization to an extent, except they're more sophisticated. They do have their own factions with their own diplomacy, and eventually you could potentially bring them into your empire. But we're going to make them fairly weak and few just for now, because I'm not the best player at this game, but I have played it a bit off camera. So I do know enough, kind of go and trying to show you all. Definitely is a game that I recommend to keep an eye out on if it goes on sale. Now, colonizable presence and independent alien life, I'm going to keep those kind of at the normal rate. I think it works out pretty well for what's around there. That's right. Not all life that's out in the universe is part of a faction. Colony range, I don't know why it's at 82 instead of 84. I'm going to do 84. And colonization range, 1.7 sectors. That'll matter in a minute. I'm going to play as humans mainly because that's what I'm used to, but there's all kinds of options available, from space dinosaurs to space moles to space seals to space lizard men. There's all kinds of options. Like I said, if you've paid attention to Stellaris, which I'll be covering more on this channel in time to come, it's not the only game out there like this, but Distant Worlds is definitely a game that if you ask people what's a good 4X game, they bring this up with the caveat that it's not really a it's not really just a 4X game. But I'm going to do, instead of a random government, I am going to pick Republic, if only because it does increase our research speed a little bit. I think I random into Republic the last time I was playing, which I meant to do Republic. So that works out. I think this is pretty good. Other empires, 18 is good for 1,000 stars. I could probably do even more. But note that some checkbox here, things like allow independent alien colonies to start new empires during the game. So eventually, other groups may rise up eventually as the game goes on. That's pretty cool. And then victory conditions. There's all kinds of different options here. I'm not going to go into it too much other than time limit is off. And it's you can actually disable tech trading. I'm keeping it on here just because it's not really going to matter for the video here. So let's go ahead. You know what? Let's just hit the start button. Start the game rolling because it's easier to discuss everything as we kind of play. Okie dokie, welcome to your empire. You are the Terrans, or the humans here. You are the ruler of all humans. Your self-government is republic. Your empire is one colony in one system. Now, victory conditions are all of those there. You can control 30% of the galaxy population, but victory conditions don't apply until 20 years in the game, so even if we rush into it, we gotta hold on here. Now, your standard empire in the Age of Shadows, pirates and smugglers and mercenaries rule the galaxy. Your empire is largely undeveloped with no space technology. Before you can take the stars, you must first research critical technology like hyperdrives and colonization. Meanwhile, pirates and others retain these key technologies and thus dominate galactic affairs. As a fledgling stellar empire, you must develop these technologies you need while manipulating the pirates and smugglers to work for you. So it is an asymmetrical start to a point that even though there's the great forgetting, all the other factions that are around here do matter, right, or do have their own technologies. Now you can see we don't start the planet named as Earth, Drummond Cass or Drummond Cass 4, so we're going to be changing that. But here's our home world. Now when I say this is a 4X game, this isn't like so not like Sins of the Solar Empire, but it's not like Master of Orion, where you can go on and do some stuff on the surface level. This is pretty much just focused on the planetary scale, on the system scale. Ooh, we have 2 moons. We got a lot of different little planets here. And we'll be talking about these and possibly visiting all these in a little bit. And then we go beyond that and we go to the galactic scale. We have a few little neighbors here. We actually have a supernova up there, which could be interesting. And we're this is how big the map is. Like I said, this is much more of a grand strategy game than just a 4X. The game doesn't ask you to take over everything. Although if that's what you want to do, you can do that. But pretty much you'll have your own chunk of the galaxy. Other empires will have their own chunks, and then the intrigue starts. The diplomacy starts and everything. But first, you start off on your humble planet. There are some elements that will... there are some UI mods and everything that would help this out for some of the visuals, but I'm sticking to pretty vanilla right now. But if we look at our system, you can see that there are things that are just unknown. We don't know what resources planets have. We actually have 2 volcanic planets, which is interesting. Another barren planet. Sometimes you'll get a place that you can colonize immediately in the planet here. You'll have asteroid fields as well. We do have another barren planet. This one actually has a stone gate on it. There's some of these artifacts which are pretty valuable here. We also have an abandoned ship, which we can figure that out because we'll have to explore some of these places. How you get hyperdrive technology here. I'll go to the technology trees now. This is a game that does rely on 3 technology trees at once, but hyperdrives, you'll notice, are unlocked, must enable through exploration. So we actually have to find and discover the secrets of hyperdrive. I'm going to go ahead and just reset my technologies for what we want early. Energy collection is going to be important for different things we build. We want enhanced construction because that increases the maximum ship size to 300. It's a very big milestone. We want to go ahead and research shields. Probably by the time we're in the middle of shield research, we'll have explored these things. So weapons here, you mainly just want to focus on 1 tech, but armor is always good to get. I like beams, so we'll do that, and we'll do possibly a few torpedoes as well. Like I said, I'm not going to have the focus of the video isn't going to be so much what do we do with research, but I do just want to go over briefly kind of what I like to do first, like medical systems and entertainment systems. We will want those for some of the stuff we're building right away, which building is another very important part of this game, mainly because, and one of my favorite parts of it, yet one of the most intimidating parts of it, is that you can design a lot of ships and everything. And we will get into the ship design in just a minute, but if we look through our planet some more, we do have 1 gas giant planet, which I hope has some gas that we can use as fuel, and we do have 1 frozen gas giant. So this is more like the Saturn or Jupiter equivalent. This is more like the Neptune or Uranus equivalent here, the smaller, more frozen gas giant. So here's our planet, our home colony. I'm going to rename it Earth, just because that's easier for me to wrap my mind around if I get notices here. And you can see all of these bonuses and everything we get right away. We are a republic that has its own leader, and we do have some specific resources on here as well. I can just hit the resources tab. Retifum ale, chrome, which is a luxury resource, chromium, polymer, carbon fiber, and necrostone. So all decent things, and we'll talk about why those are decent things, but not the greatest series of resources ever. But one of the good things that you can do in this game is change the taxes to 0%. Now, if you change the taxes to 0%, you see my cash flow is at 5,000 right now. Why does that matter? Well, if we look at the Empire summary, one of the things that really sets Distant Worlds apart from other 4X games in general is that it's not just the state that matters, it's the private sector that matters as well. Maybe this is a libertarian or Republican's dream, I don't know. But the private sector plays a huge role in this game because there's a lot of things that the state doesn't necessarily want to handle, like building all kinds of freight shipping stuff around, but the private sector will pay you to use spaceports to go to other places and on top of taxes. But what that means is that if your private sector has a lot of cash on hand, they'll be able to pick up the slack where maybe the state doesn't have a ton of money here. We'll see how that manifests itself in just a little bit. What else is good to show early? We do have different characters. Like I say, this is a grand strategy game. Not on the scale of... oh God, what am I thinking here? Not on the scale of Crusader Kings. More on the scale of Europa Universalis. Where we have people that are different leaders. They do have some traits. But we don't necessarily know how good these people are because we haven't used them very much yet. But like my leader here right now, he... has an engineered trait and a civilian ship trait. That construction's pretty nice. And as he gets more skilled, he'll be able to upgrade some of these percentages. We like the population growth being positive. The one downside is that of a republic is that even though we get higher research speed, the trade-off is that our rulers will get ousted. So if we have like a really good ruler, they're not necessarily going to stay. Okay, we are still paused here. If you have played some 4X games, you know that there's going to be a long pause period here. But we do have all kinds of ship designs and everything here. Some of these are private ships. Some of these are state ships. And one of the things that I always do first, and this is straight from a guide that I had read and went through that really helped me play this game, was go ahead and delete these things. We're going to build some of our own ships. And this will give us a good look at the ship creator as well. So you can see there's all kinds of different things here. And this is one of the things where when I was trying to do a previous recording, I really felt like I didn't explain this very well because it's good to see this kind of from the ground to the side or before you have all kinds of research here. You can see that we are low on silicon, gold, steel, helium, and lead. Hopefully those are all resources we can find in our system. Consider adding hyperdrive components. We don't have those, but you can see all these things we have here. And if we mouse over, we can see things that we won't be able to supply right away. But what we can do to start with is to add some thrusters here and increase our cruising speed. It increases the size, it increases the cost. We'll have to add a life support module to it. We'll have to add a HAB module to it. And even though it says we require these resources here, each player does start out with a cache of resources, so you can build some things right away. But at least now we have a 186% system diameter range. If I put in one more small fuel cell, that goes to 2x. That's pretty good. So we'll save that here. Yeah, let's save that there. So that's orange. That means that it's a ship we've designed ourselves. Same with the construction ship. All I'm going to do here is just add some thrusters. And I don't have too much else to add right now. So we'll just keep that there. I just want these to be able to move a little faster. Because early on in the game, space movement is slow. Now the other thing that we have are space ports. I am actually going to go ahead and delete. And you can control click a bunch of things just like on Windows. And I'm just going to stick with the small spaceport and the high-tech research station right now. And these things we're going to tear apart a little bit more. Like, I don't like having weapons on these things right away. We don't need weapons on these right away, despite the fact that if you have played Distant Worlds, you know it's going to happen about as soon as I unpause it, but we're not going to get into that yet. So, I'm completely stripping this of weapons. That greatly knocks down both the cost and the maintenance. Maintenance, of course, like many 4X games and strategy games, is a key consideration. Now, this is a spaceport. It does not actually need engines. But this is also going to double as kind of a research area. So what I'm going to do, if I can select the right thing here, there we go. I'm going to add on a weapons lab here. See, it's at 40, 60, 80, 100. Energy lab, 40, 60, 80, 100. And what this is going to do is let this double up as a research station and as a spaceport. So any resources that are mined from the planet can be traded and anything like that. You see there's a commerce center that allows transactions and things like that. So that lets the private sector kind of go and do its thing. Yeah, we probably don't need so many reactors either, because you saw we had like 100 some spare energy. We can always retrofit these later. So there's that. And if we want to update the design later, as hopefully we will in this video, we can do that again. Now this is one of our research stations. You can see that I spared one of the research, which is the high-tech labs. We're going to be retrofitting this before long, but I am going to add a few labs to each, just because the scientists will probably be assigned to this lab. And not all scientists are good at high-tech, but this will still have some pretty significant maintenance. We don't need the pulse blasters, though. So every little maintenance you can knock off helps. I think we're going to need 2 reactors. No, we only need 1 reactor right now. That will likely change. But here we go. We have a few things built. Now, before we unpause here, we have all kinds of things that we can look at. There's no special locations. We have potential resort locations for 3, which is pretty exciting. We do have 1 potential research location, which is Ixmuck, which is an interesting name for a planet. Some of the planets are named, some of them are not. Actually, this one has an abandoned ship around it, too. So we can build a research station here and get a high-tech research bonus from there. We can build some potential resorts as well, like this moon right here. These 2 are flagged because they have artifacts on them, and then one of these is just straight up a cool lava planet. So we have unknown resources. So we are actually about to hit the unpause button. Ooh, very exciting. But one of the first things I'm going to do is build a small spaceport. You're going to see our cache here is going to die off really fast. I'm going to build 2 construction ships, and let's go ahead and unpause. Now, this is a lot like... okay, we actually have space slugs nearby, but that's not really what to worry about. Interesting that that's in the same orbital plane as the planet. But I guess we haven't crashed into it at this point. Now, this is a continental world with 2 moons. And we'll know a little bit more as we kind of build here. There's a few things I can talk about while building and everything. But there are all kinds of buttons that don't necessarily matter just yet. Like, there's a few things that are easier for me to show in this game once we have a slightly more advanced save. Let's go ahead and put it up to 4x. Oh, one of those moons is moving retrograde from the other. Very fascinating system. These little planets will go around and around. And if we zoom all the way out, you can see my cash flow is low right now. We can't see any of the other planets because we haven't explored them. Like, all we know is that there's a star there. But like, we don't even know what resources are on here. So once this spaceport is finished, we need to, and we can actually check the progress here. 5 until unbuilt, 1 until unbuilt, and we should get a notification. Spaceport constructed. We've constructed a spaceport. All right. This large orbiting base serves as a shipyard, allowing us to build many different star systems. The construction of our new spaceport has galvanized the resolve of our population, providing a short-term burst to our economy. Our new spaceport also provides a hub for trade and commerce. As our technology progresses, we should upgrade our spaceport with capabilities of shields and weapons for defense, research, labs, sensors, and more. So we do have a little thing up here, and if we do check our research stations, the spaceport counts as 1, and we have a lot of research capacity right now. In fact, we're almost at capacity right now, which is awesome. So, our spaceport, can we actually build anything on it? Yes, we can. We're going to build... We notice that there's things that are too big because we can't... We don't even have schematics for them yet, but we can't build but more like in size 240. But we can build 1 Explorer, and I'm only going to build 1. A lot of guides say build 2 at first, but with the speed of research on this difficulty, we're just going to go with 1. Right now, my cash flow is in the negative, but that's okay. That's another reason I don't want to build more than 1, is that I don't need that negative pull on my economy, like you can see right now. Other states, 2 construction ship, 1 exploration ship is already on their way, but this small spaceport is 2K minus, not for DKP minus, but 2K minus for my economy. So our cash flow is going to go down just a little bit, but once we get some stuff built, once we get some exploration, and once we get this construction ship built, we should be in better shape. So starship constructed. We actually did not finish the exploration ship first. Interesting. But we've constructed our first starship, the Son of Durmond Cass. This event marks the beginning of our return to the stars. Let's continue to expand and explore. It's 2 of the X's right there. Now, since that's a construction ship, we can actually hit the not entirely clearly marked hammer button here. And even though we haven't explored this place yet, well, we can do this one of two ways. What we can do is try and go through this menu. And if we can check and see what resources we're looking for based on what's near us. We actually have a moon in one of our systems. Sanko Math. Now, how do we know what's on that one and not on the other ones? Not 100% sure. But apparently we've already managed to scan it. Is it because our exploration ship's not done either, but it's close. Maybe the spaceport detected it. Regardless, it has gold, which we need. It has lead, which we need. It has steel, which we need. So we can do this one of two ways. We can do it in the handy-dandy menu. Just look for resources needed by your empire. Send this to it, or we can manually clicky it and do it ourselves. But notice that that costs money too. So we do have one ship here. Now, if there is one thing that kind of offsets some of the intimidation factor for this game, it's that if, and I'm going to go to the options to show you this, you can automate a lot of things. I've turned off pretty much all automation. I'll take suggestions from the game, but that's about it. But what we can do here is we have Strange Encounter, which is a great name for an exploration ship. We can set it to explore this moon. And then, as we so desire, we can try and explore different things that are near us. Now, I want to go to some of these artifact regions. But I think what we can do here, important thing to know, this was not explained to me even in tutorials. I had to figure out on my own. You can shift right click and queue up all different kinds of exploration missions, which is pretty important. Unfortunately, because we're so in the middle of the solar system, looks like we're going to be going all the way over here and then all the way back. But we should be able to explore some of these things here. So explore, you want to do explore instead of move to, because that saves you a little bit. We may honestly explore both of these at around the same time. And we can do explore system. It is a little buggy. But if we just do explore planet, and then we're gonna kind of leave it there for now. So here we go. Lots of things building. We're still going at 4x speed. Did we already... Okay, we already got this. So it has more steel, more lead. That's fine. We have one construction ship that can do that. And you can see these ships are moving. Now, I'm recording at 30 frames per second. So I hope these ship movements are not too jumpy. I've had that happen in the past. But if we look at this planet, you'll see it has no resources available, unable to colonize. And now we can see it has silicon, which it doesn't have a great quantity of silicon. But silicon is still pretty damn important. Found in desert worlds, strategic resource. And if we go back to our ship designer, you'll see there's all kinds of components that actually need silicon. So that exploration ship's going to be moving up. No hyperdrive yet, and you can see we'll get some pop-ups like this as well. Our engineers have completed research on medical systems. A breakthrough provides new components. And we do want to add a medical center to our spaceport. We'll retrofit that in a minute. It's going to tell us a while to build another exploration ship. Expect to see that pop up for a while. But let's see here. We've completed armor. How are we doing on the mining station? 12 unbuilt. Now, if we look back at Earth here, like I said, we do have cargo on the Earth. If we do get raided by anybody, they can steal all of these things from us, but at least we have some resources that are our own for now. So, did you see that bonus income pop up for just a second, too? I kind of missed it for a second. But you can see the private sector starting to pay to build ships. Oh, what did I say here? Earth is under attack from the pirate escort Black Mayhem. So, greetings to our victims. You may have noticed that, okay, the galaxy's saving. It's set to autosave every 30 minutes, which is just, I guess, how it's going to go here. But you may have noticed that we are about to attack you, but for the small price of 347 credits per month, we could avoid this unnecessary violence. Of course, you really should have paid up sooner. But now that our attack is underway, we have no choice but to increase our price. Well, you never contacted me until now. Well, I'll take the 347. If you don't do this, they'll just attack all of your stuff all the time. But, see, there's our friendly pirate. And unlike other games, just barbarians, if we open diplomacy, we can trade with them. We have relations with them. We actually have a trade agreement, which could turn up good later. But we have no military strength right now. And as long as we're paying the pirates to protect us, they may actually do that and protect us. But one of the good things here is, like, you can see a mining ship from the private sector. Mining ship from the private sector, they'll just go around. And pirate raiders, I think my second construction ship built, and it's on automation. So building a mining station on planet QEO, that's fine, actually. It's a pretty good target. So mining station constructed. The construction of reverse mining station allows us to gather large quantities of valuable resources to use empowering the economy of our homeworld and building more starships. Building score from mining station is galvanized to resolve our population, providing a short-term burst to our economy. We get a lot of these early. Our freighters will soon be traveling to this new mining station, returning its resources to our homeworld. These resources may even be sold to others in the galaxy, further boosting our fledgling empire. So those resources are pretty damn valuable. And we're going to go ahead and build a second mining station. We'll do it the other way here. Build... Now, we could build a gas mining station, but that's kind of worthless. For 2,000 some credits, we can build this up here. Now, keep in mind, my cash flow is super low right now. But we're going to stay at 0% taxes. The reason we're going to stay at 0% taxes is that greatly increases our population increase. And here we go. We have the Exalted Obelisk of Drum and Cast. We have discovered this thing, which is probably over here. I wanted to kind of zoom to the area here. Yeah, our exploration ship has explored this. From our position in orbit, we can see that the ruin is in the midst of a vast rocky plain, blanketed with thousands of geothermal steam vents. Let's investigate. Okay, so it just gave us money, which is okay at this stage of the game. But in the ruins, we have found valuable treasure worth 9504 credits. Sometimes you'll get research, sometimes you'll get other stuff. Oh, this is a really good planet. Reason it's a really good planet. It has argon and hydrogen, which are both necessary resources. But it also has Kazlan, which is maybe one of the most important resources in the game. It's very common, but it's typically used for fuel, and if your ships start running out of fuel, you're going to have a huge-ass problem. So I almost kind of want to send this thing over to go ahead and build a gas station there, or a gas mining, but we'll get that soon enough. There's no hyperdrive, so but since it's already almost all the way over here, and I'd hate to lose kind of the orbital period. We're okay, but see, we have private systems over here. It's going to keep telling us to build another exploration ship. And Strange Encounters completed its mission. So what do we have? We have an abandoned ship that we can probably take on as our own, if we would just move over to it. Yeah, let's go ahead and move to it first. We should be able to possibly get a military ship right away. So, abandoned ship encountered. We've encountered an abandoned frigate adrift in the drum and cast system. Radio transmission from the ship repeats over and over. This mission is too important for me to allow you to jeopardize it. Let's investigate. And we investigate frozen gas giant planet. And it appears to be in good working order. We're in Sector G8. I had to think about that for a second. And we board it and take control. The ship also reveals information displayed in the main screen, navigational directions to a gas giant, and Windows 2 in the Windows system. Well, that's interesting if everything's called the same thing. But it makes sense given some of the history here. But we don't know what the Windows system is just yet. This is just unknown system. But the game will sometimes prompt us, all the way down here. So it's kind of pointing us to some things that we can't quite get to, or it's going to be a while before we get the tech to even be able to go. Each of these squares is a sector. All the way down there is pretty damn far. But it's a carrot to kind of go for. And so now our exploration ship is done. And we have our first military ship as well. What does it have on it? Well, we can actually check. Using the handy dandy ships menu. And dropping down, like I said in the last recording, but I haven't said yet. The AI and everything in this game is, not the AI, the UI. The AI is another thing entirely. The UI in this ship is, or in this game, is pretty clunky. But once you learn it, it'll give you everything you need. So that's a good effective part of UI here. It doesn't look like it has any like super advanced tech other than the fission reactor. So that's a positive. We could scrap it to increase our research, but at least for now we will. We're not going to make it into a fleet, but we are going to have it return to Earth. So in case anything else decides to come by, so it can patrol Earth. And now we have no mission for you. So let's go ahead and explore planet. Now once again, I can just set this to automate. And it may go ahead and do everything. But by not automating, at least that time, I was able to catch that it didn't actually go after that ship that was abandoned. So this it's very unusual in real life for well, maybe it's not that unusual, but at least in our solar system, I remember being asked once, well, why doesn't Venus or Mercury have moons? And it was a question I hadn't really considered. It's nice when people ask questions that really make you scratch your head. It's like, well, why isn't that the case? But I mean, Mercury doesn't have a moon because it's so close to let me put it this way, it's just so close to the sun, gravitational interference makes it unlikely that another body like this would orbit Mercury instead of just being captured by the sun's orbit. Venus is kind of in the same vein. So that's kind of where we're at. But if we look at our system one more time, we have a few things going on around here. We have 2 construction ships. This one's probably almost done. That other one's just getting started here. And we have some breakthroughs, so let's see. How are you doing? That's just the mining station. And this mining station's just about done. So Fleet Admiral and other characters appeared. We're going to get a few more characters. No scientists yet, which is pretty unfortunate. Like I said, we have our private sector just sending ships all about. You can see it pretty well on the map too. And then let's see. So this one's done. We definitely need to build a gas mining station here. But you can also select the planet and select gas mining. It'll never lead you astray, but you don't want to build a rock mining station on a gas giant. That just doesn't work. Alright, so there is the Earth. And we have all these things saying build new ships. It wants us to build destroyers that are like the same class as that thing. I don't want to build a military yet. We also can offer smuggling missions to pirates where we can pay credits for them to give us resources we don't have. But let's go ahead and go to the design screen because I do want to retrofit something real quick on here. As you see, not everything has orange over it anymore. Like we have resources available to make energy collectors now, which is actually one thing we are going to add to our spaceport. If you have more energy collection than energy uses, it's static, then your ship's not going to use fuel. That's right, our spaceport's using fuel right now. But it's pretty much just like solar collectors, which is good. The other thing is to add a HAB module, well, not HAB module, to add a medical center, which we still don't have Aculon. That's going to change once we put a gas mining station up. And a rec center. These things will both significantly help the happiness of our people on the planet because they'll come up to the spaceport to party. So, anything else that we need? Consider adding shields and armor. We have actually researched armor, so we might as well put some on here. At least it gives it a little bit of defense in case anybody decides to tickle it a little bit. So just like that, we have this upgraded. We can actually go ahead and... we haven't even built one of these yet. But let's go ahead and add some of this. I don't want to add much in the way of weapons, and I don't really want to add the med center or rec center onto it. I do want to add the energy collectors, though. So 48 should be good. I will want to put weapons and shields on these later. But now what we can do is unpause here. And pirates offer a colony location. We've encountered a lone... well, we can go to the event location first. We've encountered a lone starship in our system. It doesn't appear to be hostile. Kind of skip that message. But rather independent space trader. Could it be that these other ships like this, might they help transport needed resource to us? So that's interesting. Once again, look at this. Our cash flow is negative 10,000. Our bonus income is plus 6,000. That's because the private sector is working for us right now. You can see that they're paying maintenance. They're having to buy all kinds of things from us. So that is all well and good. And the pirates are actually offering us a colony location for 20,000 credits. Hell no. No, I need this cash nest egg for something else to blow it on later. I am not at all in position to colonize. My research has not even taken me towards colonization yet. And am I at a point here? I probably will want to do it after this first set of research, I guess. And then we'll want to do long-range scanners. Long-range scanners, very important. Another good thing to retrofit the space stations. Or some people like to put them on explorer ships. But you cut down some of the other functionality that way. Now, how is our little explorer ship doing? It's still trekking along. No hyperdrives yet. It looks like the place with the planet with the hyperdrive on it is all the way over here. I guess that's how it goes. So we're not going to be seeing ships warp around here, I guess. But once again, we have a pretty good cache nesting. And some of this game, too, is just going to be sitting and waiting a little bit. We actually didn't take a look to see what other resources we had. Just some more steel here. What else? We have one private mining ship. Just some... Oh, just some Aculon. That's good. So we want to put a mine there. I thought Aculon was a gas, but I'm stupid. That's Argon that I'm thinking. Argon definitely appearing on the periodic table. Argon and helium over here, so good to have resource of that. Really nice to have a 100% quality Caslin planet. That does not happen every day. So this one is silicon. And you can see our... we have a mining ship, we have a mining station, we have a construction ship that's probably idle right now. Do we have anything that we want to build other than the Aculon over here? We have steel and lead again. We can just keep these going. I guess... Okay, did we not... We didn't actually scan those moons. Oops. Well, we'll get back to that, Matt. Those are pretty low priority. I guess in this case, what... Frigate Cass is under attack from a space slug. No! Why is our ship doing this? Well, this is the one that we rescued, and it should actually be able to take on the space slug. I'm just going to keep this pause for a second. We're going to go ahead and build a mining station on here, right? Yeah, that's the resource that we want. Alright. So those guys are all going to go over there, and the other side of the planet will be largely ignored. Let's go to our frigate. We're turning it down here. Can you take on the space slugs, or are we going to die right away? Do you have little weapons? You're taking them on both at once. That is not good. But the space slugs, they have some health. It is good to actually clean up these asteroids. You used to see pirates actually take these on for. I guess you just wanted to really fly through it and shoot them. But yeah, you don't actually control combat. You can just control your space fleets and everything, and they will do that. But you can see we have some state ships floating around. We could probably use to build a third construction ship, to be honest. It feels a little early to do that, but we'll want it. We will want it. So let's go ahead and make that happen. We don't need a second spaceport. Let's do the construction ship for now. Oh wow, badly damaged. Not that damaged. But you couldn't even take out a space slug. That's where my designs, once I do some research here, as we're getting through our weapons okay, but I don't really want to build ships and incur that upkeep until the technology is worth my time. So let's hear, did one of these moons have gold? Well, you know what, we can actually check this way. What resources does our empire seem to need right now? Drummond Cast 2 has Acilio and Aculon, which is good. We want to put something there. Steel, lead, Aculon, steel, lead. And if we go right here, we do have one source of gold. So, yeah, we definitely want to build a mining station on the second planet outside sun, which is also a lava planet. And there is another way that we can do this because, oh, this actually is not our tourist attraction. This one is. Interesting. Alright, well, we can definitely build another mining station there. When I build tourist bases and everything, which I will probably... I'm in about a position to start doing that. But once I start building tourist bases, you can actually add a mining platform to them as well, so that's worthwhile. See, there's just a private gas mining ship that wants to go all the way. They must have gotten a really good contract. That's for sure. Alright, so you're not automated, so we want you to refuel and repair. Nice try, buddy. You get a I tried sticker or star. But you can see the construction ship actually has to go back to Earth to actually get the materials needed to add a station here. So like when I want to build a research station out here, I'm probably going to need to go back, and by that point, honestly, I'll probably have hyperdrive technology. Or at least pretty close to it. If I just go 4x speed, in a 4x game we may go just a touch faster. And I will have to go back and explore these moons too. But I think we're at about a good point here for Distant Worlds. This gives you a bit of a taste of the early game, a little bit of the ship creator. a little bit of some of the military ship can... What? Oh, okay. We got that because we actually sent it into repairs. We're now able to defend ourselves against threats. That doesn't trigger another event, fortunately. But see, you can start with no taxes, and you can... My population is just booming right now. I started at like 3 billion. We're already at 4.5 billion. And here we go, the Shadow Gate of Drummond Caes. Let's investigate these ruins. From our orbital inspection, we detect these ruins lie at the bottom of a desolate rocky valley. And in the ruins, the Stone Gate of Drummond Caes, we have found a store of scientific knowledge from a vanished civilization. The very difficult to decipher this store of knowledge has given us enough understanding to begin researching the project Warp Field Precursors. So Warp Field Precursors project holds... This project holds the promise of faster and light travel, opening a galaxy for exploration. You see how slow these ships are going around here? It's pretty slow, and I can send a construction ship over to do that, but it's also going to be pretty slow. What we need to do is to make our ships go faster and faster out there. Unfortunately, the moment you hit a warp drive for the first time, bad things can pop out. So you've... Okay, I thought that was actually... fire on the moon, but these are moons that I didn't get to, so we won't do that. Sometimes they'll have good resources. And okay, you really want to take on those space slugs. You really do. The space slugs don't seem to be regenerating health. But yeah, like I said, this is a game that it takes a lot of just to get into, but once you do, there's a lot that you can get out of it. And like I said, we're just scratching the surface. We haven't even really done much to meet other civilizations, but like right now, I do have shields available for research. I think I actually want to hold off. I can get shields and then build the warp field precursors, because shields... Notice that this project is only 120k research. This project is 480k research, so this will take a very long time, versus shields, which will let us go ahead and build our fleet and be prepared for what bad things can happen when you do opt to get the warp field. But yeah, that's a Distant Worlds universe. Right now, just in the opening stage of the solar system. I will keep this save. Let me know if you want to see some more of what the early game looks like. Let me know as well if you want me to show what the later game looks like. I'm not 100% sure if I could stream this game, because I've had trouble recording and actually getting the recording to have these windows on here as everything else. But you can see our private sector once again going bonkers, supplementing our cash flow like crazy. And you can't keep it at 0% taxes forever, but anything you can do to build up your own colony right now is great, because apparently everyone wants to reproduce when there's no taxes. I don't know what that's all about, but that's it for now. This is Asher with Distant Worlds Universe, the solar system right now. And we're around our main sequence star. You can see everything's around here. We have our tiny sliver of space, and hopefully more just a little bit soon. Let's see if we have other good resources to get here. Yeah, we got another source of gold, so that was a good moon to scan. But yeah, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. Feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments, and we'll do this again soon. Free Play Friday. It's fun, I hope. See you next time.